Namaste to all the viewers. I welcome you back on this national webinar series, Yoga Ramayana Vishwakosha History. Continuing our series with Dr. Ishwar Basavareddy sir, in today's session he'll be speaking about four main pillar concepts of Yoga Vasishta.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। शांति शांति शांति। Namaste, pranams to you all, pranams to most respected Guruji, pranams to all devotees and disciples of Swami Rama, Sri Rama, pranams to all yoga enthusiasts who are the practitioner, knowledge seekers in the path of knowing ourselves, which leads to the ultimate freedom. We have discussed various chapters of Yoga Vasishta yesterday, 6 chapters and the content in the 6 chapters. Today we are going to discuss about the 4 fundamental pillars of Yoga Vasishta. The Yoga Vasishta, as you know, is a very popular text on Advaita. It is very ancient in form. As I said yesterday, it is philosophical in content. And it is in the form of replies given by Maharishi Vasishta to Sri Rama's queries regarding philosophical problems of life and death, human suffering, and treats the essence of Advaita Vedanta. The main theme of Yoga Vasishta is that the soul is undergoing a dream from which it must awake. This dream represents our association and identification with this world, the materialistic world. The fact that it is described as being a dream means that whatever is in it has to be false, just like a dream. Our dreams are never the realities. Therefore, nothing in a dream can be true. Waking up from that dream is giving the reality of life, like this waking up from the dream is the ultimate goal. that is freedom, self-realization. That means this entire world itself is like a dream. Let us wake up and see the ultimate reality. The sum of pleasures of the whole world, whatever we are calling it as enjoyment, happiness, is a mere drop of a water in the ocean when compared to the bliss of a moksha, the ultimate freedom. When all the desires are destroyed, the extinction of the mind, where mind becomes no mind, that means no thoughts, no emotions, thoughts free, blank, shunya, is moksha. Extinction of all psychological conditioning constitutes the eternal freedom of the self, permanent freedom of the self from the bondages of the prakriti, the world. Therefore, self-knowledge is the realization that the self is in reality not bound, but always pure and free from all kinds of sorrow. Realize that, Vasishtha said, realize that you are the immortal, all pervading self, and become free. What from? All kinds of sorrow. This is the ultimate goal of our life and the goal of our existence that Yoga Vasishtha teaches us. So, for this now today we are discussing the 4 pillars, and beautifully it said they are the gatekeepers at the entrance. These 4 pillars to the realm of freedom, the moksha. As I said earlier, Yoga Vasishtha goes with Advaita, the monism, and it beautifully explains what are these 4 pillars or gatekeepers at the entrance to the realm of freedom. The first one is the Shanti. It's not the peace, but it is self-control or quietness of mind. When mind is calm, quiet, thought-free, oriented mind always leads to the Sattva Pradhana. It can see the difference between the real and unreal. Therefore, self-control is the first pillar, or it is one of the pillar. The second one is the Vichara, spirit of inquiry. So, we must inquire, analyze. And third one is the Santosha, contentment, fulfillment, desire free. And most importantly, the fourth pillar is Satsanga, always be in the company of seers, knowledge seekers, mumukshu, in the sangha of in the company of yogis, the knowledge seekers. The wise seeker should diligently cultivate that friendship of these Shanti, Vichara, Santosha and Satsanga, or at least one of them. At least one of them. This world appearance is a confusion. Even the blueness of the sky is an optical illusion. Everybody knows that. Therefore, it is better not to let the mind dwell on it. but to ignore it. Therefore, it is always advised to have the self-control, spirit of inquiry, contentment, and be in the good company. They are the four pillars of what? Four pillars leads to the freedom, ultimately realm of freedom, the moksha. So let us see the first one, the Shanti, self-control. When the mind is at peace, pure, tranquil, free from delusion and or from hallucination, untangled and free from cravings. Every time you want to have these, man craves for happiness, one after the other, one after the other. He does not long for anything, nor does it reject anything. This is self-control or conquest of mind. Therefore, all that is good and auspicious flows from self-control. All evil is dispelled by self-control. No gain, no pleasure in this world or in heaven is comparable to the delight of self-control. So we are craving for the happiness, but happiness is within. We are searching in the worldly pleasure. Where is the happiness? It is in the conquering the mind, quietness of the mind, peaceful mind. The delight one experiences in the presence of the self-control is incomparable. And everyone trusts a person who is having the self-control. Spontaneously people trust him because he is in the peace, eternal peace, and always he goes with the right thing, the truthful thing, and no one hates such a person. So that's why Patanjali, when he is quoting ahimsa, ahimsa pratishtaya tatsannidau vairanashaha. He is not having any violence, kaya, vacha, manasa, no desire, no evil thoughts, and there is no question of enmity, and everybody spontaneously trusts such a person, self-controlled person. This is the one of the most important pillar of freedom. You are slowly getting away from all these worldly himsa, matsara, all these things. Self-control is the best remedy for all physical and mental illness. When there is a self-control, even the food we eat tastes better, else it tastes bitter. He who wears the armor of self-control is not at all harmed by the sorrow, the pain, the suffering. He who even while hearing, touching, seeing, smelling and tasting Panchatanmatras, that means hearing, touching, seeing, smelling and tasting what is regarded as a pleasure, sensory pleasure, and unpleasant is neither elated nor depressed, because he is self-controlled. He never have the passion for that. He who looks upon all beings with equal vision, equanimity, no distinction between the caste, cadre, religion, gender, having brought under control the sensations of our pleasure and pain is called self-control. He who, though living amongst all, is unaffected by them, neither feels elated nor hates. Even as one is doing sleep, even in the sleep state, dream state, he is a self-control. Therefore, Vasishtha emphasizes on the importance of self-control for leading toward the freedom. Therefore, elaborately giving the several stories, he emphasizes on the self-control. The second one is the vichara, the spirit of inquiry. It's called the pillar or the gatekeeper for liberation should be undertaken by the intelligence that has been purified by a close study of the scripture, and this inquiry should be unbroken. They should be unbroken. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, they are the primary teachings of jnana. Therefore, by such inquiry, by analyzing every aspect of life, the intelligence becomes keen and is able to realize the supreme. Hence, inquiry alone is the best remedy for the long-lasting illness known as samsara. So, whatever comes to us, I am analyzing it and always stand in the path of truth or the S. Even a small one mistake, standing in the untruth or false decision, and later on continuing the right direction of the false, again it is a disaster. Therefore, in the logic always yes, no, one stand with only yes, why, yes in the Y column, always, not a single time we should be in the first. Therefore, the wise man regards strength, intellect, efficiency and timely action as the fruit of inquiry. Indeed, the kingdom, prosperity, enjoyment, as well as final liberation are all the fruits of inquiry. Yesterday, in the conclusion, I said, after the enlightenment of from the teachings of the Guru Vasishtha, Swami Rama not renounced the world. He come back and rule the country, but inside he is having no desire, dispassion, Vairagya Murti. Therefore, he get the kingdom, prosperity, enjoyment, everything, and a person having the spiritual inquiry and spiritual inquiry, he is having the final liberation, and these are the fruits of inquiry. It is not only inquiring, but standing always with the truth is the result of, and which are spirit of inquiry and the self-inquiry. The non-inquiring spiritual seeker is really a storehouse of sorrow, full of sorrow. It is the absence of inquiry that gives rise to actions that are harmful to oneself and to the others, and to numerous psychosomatic illnesses what we are facing. Therefore, one should avoid the company of such unthinking people. So, some people never mind whatever is happening, They never analyze, yes or no. Blindly we are moving towards the companies of sorrow. Even the good people cannot enter into the realm of these unthinking people, non-inquiring people. They in whom the spirit of inquiry is ever awake, illumine the world, enlighten all who come into contact with them, dispel the ghost created by an ignorant mind, and realize the falsity of sense pleasure and their objects. Vasishtha says, O Rama, in the light of inquiry, there is a realization of the eternal and unchanging reality. Most wonderful. In the light of inquiry, there is a realization of the eternal and unchanging reality. Because the inquiry continues till you realize the truth. This is the supreme. So it may be begin with the worldly truth, realization the worldly truth, realization self, and realization of the supreme. With it, one does not long for any other gain, nor does one spurn anything. He is free from delusion, attachment. He is not inactive, nor does he get drawn in action. Most important. He lies and functions in this world, and at the end of the natural lifespan, he reaches the blissful state of the total freedom. That is the beauty of self-inquiry. The eye of spiritual inquiry does not lose its sight even in the midst of all activities. See the wonderful message Yoga Vasishtha is giving for this self-inquiry, the analysis of our thought process. We never lose the sight. The spiritual seeker never loses the sight. That's why it's called mumukshu. Always he is seeing only the one thing. What is that? Moksha is only thing he sees. He who does not have this eye indeed to be pitied. It is better to be born as a frog in the mud, a worm in the dung, a snake in the hole, but not be one without his eye. What is inquiry? To inquire. Thus, who am I? What is that inquiry? The first one is, who am I? How has this evil of samsara, repetitive birth and death, come into being? I have been bonded for this samsara. This is the true inquiry, such type of inquiry. It may begin with like this in bhakti. So idolatry or the murti aradhana is the kindergarten of bhakti. May start any inquiry to begin with, but ultimately it leads, whom I am, what is this universe, what is my relation, what is moksha, what is the samsara, why I born this samsara. All these inquiries continues. Knowledge of truth arises from this inquiry. Such type of inquiry leads to the knowledge of what? Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. From such knowledge, there follows tranquility in oneself. And then there arises the supreme peace in the self and ending of all sorrow. The sorrow ends when peace comes. One replaces the other. Therefore, it is very, very important to inquire about myself, to inquire about the universe. After finding the truth with philosophical inquiry, one can stand in the truth. That leads to the contentment or santosha. Contentment is the third one, is another gatekeeper or the pillar of for liberation. So, he who has quaffed the nectar of contentment, santosha, does not relish craving for sensory pleasures. No delight in this world is as sweet as contentment, which destroys all sides of sins. So, in the process of attaining pleasure, human beings are blunders and doing blunders after blunders, sins after sins. Therefore, a person who is having the contentment and doesn't have the orientation for the sensory pleasures, no delight in the world is as sweet as contentment, because it destroys all sorts of sins. Then what is this contentment? To renounce all craving for what is not obtained, unsought, and to be satisfied with what comes unsight, without being elated or depressed even by them, is contentment. As long as one is not satisfied in the self, he will be subjected to sorrow. With the rise of contentment, the purity of one's heart blooms. The contented man who possesses nothing owns the world. He is the king who doesn't have any possessiveness for the worldly things. Therefore, atseya, ahimsa, satya, atseya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, atseya and aparigraha. It's repeatedly in Yoga Sutra. All these things are ingredient in Yoga Sutra also. The last pillar is the good company, wise company. Satsanga, what we call. Satsanga, or the company of wise, the holy person, enlightened persons, yogis, rishis, seers, is yet another pillar of liberation, leads to the liberation or freedom. Satsanga enlarges one's intelligence, because we are only thinking for the moksha. There is no scope for discussions of the worldly thing. Therefore, remain in the wise company, holy company is very, very important. So, being in that intelligence good, that destroys one's ignorance and one's psychological distress, whatever be the cost, however difficult it is, it may be, whatever obstacles may stand in its way, satsanga shall not be neglected at all. For satsanga alone is one's light on the path of life. Therefore, in the many yoga institutions, satsanga is one of the integral part of the routine yoga sadhana. We discuss various aspects of yoga leading to the freedom. Therefore, satsanga is indeed superior to all other forms of religious practice like charity, austerity, pilgrimage, and the performance of religious rituals or rites. So, we do many things to get moksha. Rituals we do, yajna, havana, yaga, that, this. We go to the pilgrimage to get the liberation. But satsanga, the company of wise, company of sages, seers, yogis, is the superior for all such type of religious practices or rituals. One should be every means in one's own power, adore and serve the holy men who have realized the truth and in whose heart the darkness of ignorance has been dispelled. They who, on the other hand, treat such holy men disrespectfully surely invite great suffering. Therefore, in our culture, we never abuse any good person. Always the rishis, seers, yogis, knowledge people has been respected in our culture. The elders, the knowledgeable person has the most respected person in our society. This is the reason because that gives. Therefore, these four, contentment, satsanga, the spirit of inquiry and self-control, are the four surest means by which they who are drowning in this ocean of samsara can be saved. Contentment is the supreme gain. Satsanga is the best companion to the destination. The spirit of inquiry itself is the greatest wisdom. And self-control is the supreme happiness. If we are unable to restore to all these four, then practice one. By the diligent practice of one of these, the others will also be found in us. The highest wisdom will seek you of its own accord until we tame the war, until we tame the wild elephant of our mind with the help of these noble qualities of four pillars: contentment, satsanga, self-inquiry, self-control. These are the noble qualities. We cannot have progress towards the Supreme. Even if you become a god, demigod or a tree, that doesn't make any sense. Therefore, Vasishtha said, O Rama, strive by all means to cultivate these noble qualities. He who is endowed with the qualities that have enumerated thus far is the qualified to listen to what I am about to reveal. In the second adhyaya, I say, when the mind is at peace and the heart leaves to the supreme truth, when all the disturbing thought waves in the mind stuff have subsided and there is unbroken flow of peace and the heart is filled with the bliss of the absolute, the Paramatman, the supreme consciousness, when thus the truth has been seen in the heart, then this very world becomes an abode of bliss. See the wonderful verses of Yoga Vasishtha. It gives a mere happiness. I'll quote these slokas, verses tomorrow. Let us see, after explaining all these four pillars, now we have to understand what is mind and what mind management means in Yoga Vasishtha. Manohi bhavana matra. The mind is mere thought, and thought is the mind in motion, literally having the property of fluctuation. Mind always flows, it never stands. Its actions are directed by the nature of the thoughts, according to the nature of the objects of thought, and the result of act is felt by everybody in his mind. Sankalpa Shakti Rachitam Yadrupam Tanmano Vidhu. The nature of the mind is known to be composed of the property of volition, which is an attribute of the infinite and almighty power of the supreme consciousness. Therefore, it is essential to know the nature of mind. In another definition, it says, samsarottarane yuktiryo kashabdena kathyate. That means of fording over the ocean of this earth is known by the word yoga or union, which is composed of the quality of specifying the mind in either of the two ways or the process. The famous definition of yoga in Yoga Vashishta, manaprashamanopayo yoga ithabhidiyate. Yoga is the method through which tranquility and peace of mind is attained. There are two ways of extinguishing the mind. One is the yoga and the other is the spiritual knowledge. Of these, yoga is the cessation of mental modification and the spiritual knowledge is the through investigation of all mighty truth, where we discussed about the 4 pillars leading to the freedom or the liberation. So, this is the way how Yoga Vashishta cultivates our mind, develop the attitudes, proper attitudes. If you see in the Advaita of Shankara, so it said 4 important qualities: Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampattu and Mumukshutva. Here also we can see in the similar way, we should have a 4 fundamental principles to be followed by a person, a spiritual seeker who is aspiring for the glory of wisdom, the ultimate freedom, the entering into the absolute truth. So, with this today we conclude. Tomorrow let us take one more aspects of Yoga Vashishta, which will definitely help us to overcome the suffering and slowly move forward for the ultimate goal of life, to know the absolute. Dhanyavad. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
My grateful thanks to Dr. Ishwar Basavareddy sir for his beautiful topics on Shanti, Vichara, Santosha and Satsanga. We'll meet tomorrow with another unique topic. Namaste.